So we of course have to get a full-blown acceleration. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a used Lexus LC 500, and we're going to decide if the Lexus LC 500 is one of the best used vehicles that you can buy. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Lexus here in Murray for giving me some time with this LC 500. It is certified pre-owned, so if you're interested in it, check out the inventory in the link below and then obviously reach out to them. But let's get right into the video. Now, under the hood of the LC 500, we have a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 471 horsepower and then 398 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of this LC 500, and I feel like this is the signature color for the LC 500. It looks absolutely fantastic, especially in the sunlight. Now coming a little bit closer, we've got the full LED lights here. I love the accent light, and then the light that comes down just below, including the headlights. Just all of it looks really good. And then notice we've got the Lexus logo that does double as a sensor, and then I feel like this is the best iteration of Lexus's front grille. I think it's just perfectly proportioned. We do have parking sensors along the front end, and yeah, other than that, that is everything for the front end of the LC 500. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 45mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the front, and then in the rear it's two 75mm, and then the wheel is still 21 inches. And this also does come with rear steer. With this particular one, it's got the sport package that adds that option. It also adds a spoiler in the back. Definitely an option to go for, and we'll talk about that more in the driving portion. But back to the wheels themselves, I think they look fantastic. They're perfectly sized for the LC 500, and just look at this side view. I think it's one of the best looking cars, and this definitely kind of harks back to the Lexus LFA. It looks super similar from the side view with both of them. Now here's a quick look at the storage area with the LC 500. You can see that we've got some netting just down below. We've got our Lexus floor covering here. And I mean, for being, again, a two-door sports car, it actually has a decent sized trunk, and well, so you. Now let's go over the back end of the LC 500. Again, this has the spoiler. Again, that's part of the package that gives you the rear steer. And then coming down below, I love the taillights on the LC 500. You've got the 3D look. They just look super distinctive. And then the turn signal that comes down below, again, just all of it looks perfect. You got your LC 500 badge, parking sensors, and then I love the stacked exhaust covering look. I think it looks really good. And yeah, overall, I think from the back end perspective, this is my favorite part of the LC 500, and this has got to be the best looking back end on any car. Now let's pop into the interior here. So first off, we've got this beautiful leather here at the top, and then down below we've got a bunch of Alcantara in this area, and then we've got more leather down here. We've got the memory seats, and then you've got all of your window and mirror controls. Door handle looks and feels really nice. Everything material wise is really nice. Got the carbon fiber down here, and then we've got the front seats here, again, full leather. You've got the Alcantara there in the center portion. They are power adjustable, and well, actually you can pull this lever right here, and then the seat moves forward automatically for you. I'm not going to pop there into the rear, but pretty much it's like a storage shelf, or use it for kids. Adults will not really fit back there comfortably, and yeah, but the one thing I will say that I'm very impressed with is the fact that the material use back there is really nice, even though most people are never going to use that area in their LC 500 other than storage. Now finishing things off before we pop into the LC 500, I love the paddles there on the back of the steering wheel. I love the pedal layout, and then notice again all of the leather, and then that's the trunk release, that's for the heads-up display, your gas release. The steering wheel is automatically adjustable, but just notice the material use on everything is perfect. Everything looks and feels nice. Now here's the steering wheel in the LC 500. You've got leather all around the steering wheel with perforated leather here on the sides so you get a better grip. And then you've got normal practical car stuff. You've got your cruise control, for example, and then you've got like your lane keep assist. And then again, we've got those beautiful paddles. You've got the controls for the center stack, voice command controls, volume controls, just everything you can need. I love that the airbag cover even has leather and stitching on it. Got the light / turn signal stock. You got the windshield wiper stock on the other side, and that's all for the steering wheel. First off, I want to mention this is your stability control stock / your snow mode control. I don't think anyone has ever driven their LC 500 in the snow, but you know, in case you need it. Anyways, here's the center stack. So we've got a few different drive modes. We've got a comfort and eco mode, and those you just scroll down to get into either of those. You push in for normal, and then we've got our sport, and then our Sport Plus, which make the gauge cluster look really cool. And sorry about that fuel light warning. We'll just kind of, there we go. But yeah, just looks really good from an aesthetic perspective. Now here's the center infotainment system. It is not a touchscreen. It's controlled all via a keypad. And again, my apologies for the glare. It's just that time of the year where the sun's in the perfect place where you get glare no matter what angle you're faced at. But anyways, the infotainment system is relatively easy to control with the keypad, but I would say that Lexus's newer infotainment system, where you can control it via the touchscreen function or the keypad, like in the new RX models, is a lot easier than this. But this has enough shortcut buttons and it's easy enough. I do love the feedback with the keypad, but I could imagine it'd be kind of hard to basically control this and then also drive at the same time. But once you get used to it, you get used to it. And then lastly, I do want to mention the backup camera. You do have a reverse camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And by the way, turning this car is amazing because of the rear steer. Like getting into parking spaces and everything would be super easy. Again, the maneuverability with that rear steer helps out a lot. So we've got more stuff happening in this area. We've got some vent action happening, and then we've got that for the dual zone climate control. And then we have a cup holder in this area with the covering that goes over it. All the analog controls for the radio and infotainment system. And then this is your wrist rest. I just like saying that because it's hard to say. Try to say wrist rest 10 times in a row. Good luck. And then here is the shifter. So you push it over and go up for reverse, push it over and go down for drive, and then press P for park. You've got our hold right here. That is for the spoiler to actually raise that up if you want to have that kind of going on. And then we do have the center console, which kind of goes back like that, which is pretty cool. So you just have that little tab right there to pull that back, and then it'll release to kind of give you some extra storage space right here. As for the center console itself, there's this other tab that you pull and then you can actually access it. And you can see there's a little area where you can charge devices. And then if you want it to go back, just push the tab down and then just push it forward. And then as for the glove box, press that and the glove box will pop down. It's all lined with felt. The outside of the glove box is leather. Top is leather. Like everything is really nice material wise here in the LC500. Everything you look at design wise is beautiful, but also just really nice material wise. Like look at the lines, everything's all interconnected. It's just one of the nicest interiors in the car industry. Now finishing things up top here, we actually don't have a sunglass holder, which is kind of interesting. Traditional mirror, and then we've got the Alcantara headliner, which continues onto the pillars as well. Again, just brings up the interior, definitely makes this feel more upscale. Now that we're done going over the interior, I'm sure you guys are all wondering about pricing. If you want the most up-to-date price, go check out Larry H. Miller Lexus's inventory in the description below. And again, this is certified pre-owned, so it does come with some extra stuff. If you're curious about that, reach out to them if you're serious about buying the car. But let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility here before we set off in the LC500. So first off, here's the visibility over the hood, and then hopefully you can see the heads-up display. And then here's the visibility through both the mirrors. Again, they do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. We are initially setting off here in the LC500, and every single time I get in this car, I absolutely love it. And then I go home and look at my bank account and cry because I cannot afford to buy one right now. It is such an amazing car. Now, why is this car so amazing? First off, the driving position just feels absolutely fantastic. You feel nice and low in the car, but you still have good visibility points all around. And actually, I need to put the steering wheel down a little bit for me. You've got good visibility points all around. We have this nice low sports car feel, and the seats just hold you in place perfectly. If you guys are wondering, I'm about 180 pounds, but I do kind of have a wider back because I work out, and I've perfectly fit in these seats. I just absolutely love how they like just kind of hug you in a way. It just has a really nice feeling from a seating perspective. And then it's just so comfortable on top of that from a ride quality perspective. But then also just from a seating perspective, the seats are very soft, they're very supportive. It's just the perfect seat. And then the ride quality for a car is just amazing. When you go over stuff, it really doesn't upset the LC500. It does a really good job as a luxury car. And this is a car that I would just want to get in and drive every single day. And I could just do boring stuff. I could just go to the grocery store, all that kind of stuff, and I would absolutely love it because of how comfortable this car is. And just when it goes over bumps, it doesn't upset the car, nothing rattles. Obviously that's because Lexus has such good build quality, but yeah, just overall as like a daily driver car, it is fantastic. The air conditioning works great, the ventilated seat works great, like everything is just fantastic with the LC 500. Now, of course, I have to do a bunch of driving here in the Sport Plus mode because that is the drive mode to be in. Now, again, you can really feel the rear steer here with the LC 500. Like, the turn-in's great. And the one thing I've noticed here is, going back on the normal mode, the steering definitely feels lighter in the normal mode. And then if I go back into the Sport Plus mode, the steering definitely stiffens up and it has a heavier, more sports car-like feel, which, again, absolutely love it. It has a good amount of feedback actually for the type of car that this is. I was really not expecting any feedback whatsoever. So we're gonna be taking another turn up here, and I want you guys again to just see the rear steer. Like, the turn in on this car is amazing. And it sounds just, I'm gonna shut up, listen. Ah, that V8 sound is absolute perfection. I could listen to that sound every single day for the rest of my life. That is such a nice, rich sound. It's unlike a lot of other V8s that you just have that are similar to this. I mean, again, if you guys think about it, like a Mustang GT has a 5-liter V8, and it sounds good and rumbly and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't sound like that. It doesn't have that level of character is the best way for me to put it. I'm just kind of purposely driving slow to create some space. Yeah, even when you don't go all the way up, it's still just, and it's fun to go through the gears with this actually. The 10-speed's really engaging with the paddles. Again, it is so quick with the upshifts and the downshifts that it actually, again, just lends to this fun, engaging experience from a shifting perspective. So we, of course, have to get a full-blown acceleration. It shifts for you. That is interesting. I don't know if I have to turn something off, but it just upshifted for me, which was kind of weird. Like it did it right before, but let's try it again. There you go. You can actually bounce off of the rev limiter with the LC 500. They engineered that for this car. I've never been able to try it before. That was the first time. Like, it's thrilling. The experience is absolutely thrilling. And again, some of you guys, if you aren't familiar with this car, you might be freaking out and be like, oh no, you're not supposed to do that. Lexus purposefully engineered this car to be able to do that, to add to the drama of the driving experience. Like, that is literally part of the driving experience of the LC 500, is to do that with the rev limiter. And it's, again, it just adds to this cool experience you get with the LC 500. Just so fantastic. I'm purposely like clicking on the paddles because they're just so engaging. But I guess we'll just quickly sum things up. It looks beautiful on the outside. Interior is absolutely flawless. It drives amazing. It drives like an amazing luxury car, but it has this level of excitement to it. It's not crazy fast, but it is quick enough. It's engaging, and it's an amazing luxury GT car that you could drive every single day, have tons of fun with, and you can do that. So it looks like it does it at first gear. So you can bounce off the rev limiter at second gear, but you can't do it at first. That's the rule with the LC 500. But yeah, this thing is amazing. And if you're looking to buy one, again, they have this one certified pre-owned, 19,000 miles. Definitely think it's worth it. I love this spec on this particular car, and see you guys in the next review. Now let's get sum things up for our video on this 2018 Lexus LC 500. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Lexus here in Murray for giving me some time with the LC 500. Check out their inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.